This is Global Missing Persons Alert, Interpol Yellow Notice Number 21-22733. This is July 6, 2025. I had just discovered recently that all my Facebook Lives, which I had only been doing for about the last month and a half, when the self-hating racist of the serpent seed of Cain, who absolutely hates everybody because they're so fucking angry because they hate the color of their own skin that they blame everybody else for. I'm spinning it right back around and I'm putting the blame right back on you, and I'm taking you and your species back 5,000 years since you've done nothing but devolve anyways. So, here's what they did. Wayne County and Macomb County. And it just so happens that during the time that they went through my Facebook page and all of their fear and paranoia about Department of Homeland Security in Detroit DOT contracted spy operations and the shit shows, the staged FEMA role-playing shit shows that these animals, that's what they are, that these animal hybrids have going on down there at the Jason Hargrove Transit Center at 8 Mile and Woodward. Okay, you want to know what kind of dirty, filthy, vile, disgusting filth these people are? Go to the Jason Hargrove Transit Center in Detroit, Michigan at 8 Mile and Woodward. You've never in your life seen a lower life form than what you're going to see there. You've never seen the filth and the disgust. And I'm not just talking about the environment, which I'm talking about that too. I'm talking about the animal hybrids that are like the most disgusting thing that you ever did see. Matter of fact, it's all over Detroit, Michigan, USA. Go down to Hart Plaza. Bring a barf bag with you because it's absolutely gross. Okay, it is absolutely gross. And if you come to the United States, make sure, don't eat in the restaurants here. Okay, do not eat anything that you do not prepare by your own hand. Don't eat the meat in America. Don't eat the wheat. Matter of fact, don't eat it if it didn't grow on a tree and it didn't grow out of the ground, and if you didn't pick it and wash it and cut it by your own hand, don't eat it. Matter of fact, if you don't have to come to Michigan in the United States, don't come here. And whatever you do, do not come into physical contact. Make sure you stay 12 feet distance from these people because they're disgusting, they're filthy, they're trifling, and they got diseases never seen before to mankind, these animal hybrids here in the United States. Okay, these Gog and Magog, these A, B, and A bloodlines, okay, of the most despicable species that you will ever encounter. These hybrids, that's what United States is. United States of animal jinn hybrids and serpent seed from serpent seed of Cain, okay? And you better be careful because they'll kill you, okay? Let me tell you what, they will kill you over the self-hatred of the color of their own skin, especially if you're white, okay? They love to rape, they love to murder, they're a god-awful, mean people, and they get off on it, okay? They get off on it. They are the kind of people who get a rise, get a hard on. It like makes their day to see anybody suffer, especially if they are the one inflicting the pain. Okay, and don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. If you get one of these serpent seeds of Cain, okay, you get one of them alone by themselves, Okay? They seem real nice. They seem real cool, but they're not. Wait until they get 2, 3, 4, and 5 together, and you're going to get a knife in your back. That's for sure. Okay? Especially if you're white. White people, beware. It is not safe for you here. So, they've gone through. First of all, they deleted the undercover pigs from the Jason Hardgrove, who I have re-exploited, and I'm going to continue over time to bring them back up and make sure their faces stay front and center. I'm going to make sure there is nowhere that those undercover pigs can go in the entire United States of America and not be recognized for the pigs that they are. Second of all, okay, there was the video all the way from Jason Hardgrove Transit Center all the way down to Woodward, downtown Detroit, where I got stuck with the ugliest serpent seed of Cain you ever did see. A FEMA contracted role player, okay? Who threatened my life with my own walking stick. This bitch, this animal hybrid from the serpent seed of Cain, threatened my life with my own walking stick. And I sat there and I put that bitch through all kinds of psychological and mental trauma all the way from Jason Hardgrove Transit Center to the other disgusting, filthy spy operation, which is the Transit Center downtown Detroit. And that's a 2-part video. Okay, that is getting reposted. And it's going to be much worse the second time than it was the first. Okay, and the beautiful thing about that is, because I actually have more. Then there's a bus video, and this I didn't post yet. For months I've been saying I'm going to get around to it, and for no other reason than Allah knew this was going to happen, has it been delayed. And so now I can re-upload all of this together and include what I didn't add. Okay, like the terrorist attack on the smart bus in Macomb County by one of those god-awful, self-hating serpent seeds of Cain who hates their self because of the color of their own skin, just like all the bus drivers. Angry, mean. And part of it's the cannibalism, folks. Part of the reason these people are mean and hateful in the United States of America, the Bangladeshi Muslim man at the halal market where I shop and buy my food, because you really gotta be careful about food here in America. You have to be careful. Try to get imported. Try to avoid anything American. Okay, I don't care about the trade war. I don't care if you have to pay 100% tariffs on your end out of your own pocket. I don't care if you have to pay 500% tariffs. Try to get your food imported. The American food is not food. It's chemical and bioterrorism. And I've been telling the world for years, they're putting dead people in the food supply. And the video that I shared last night about this, okay, goes over to where 2 years ago, he covers the same articles that I covered 2 years ago, that they tried to assassinate me as I was posting them, and it literally took me hours and hours just to get those screenshots of the article posted. Okay, it's bad here in America. And the cannibalism, these people, they eat each other. Okay, they're cannibals here in America. They kidnap, traffic, they eat each other, they steal each other's organs. Okay. Another thing, be real careful. You don't want to be that son of a bitch that, you don't want that wakes up in a hotel room, bathtub full of blood, missing 2 fucking organs. Okay, like the poor bastard who woke up in a bathtub full of blood, missing 2 organs that probably ended up inside a Jeanette Diamond. Ugh. Okay, that's another. They have deleted all of the Jeanette Diamond, Dawn and Ty Mars, and the Great Oaks stuff. You know, Jeanette Diamond shitting all over the place, shitting all over the floor, shitting all over the bathtub, smearing shit on the walls. Okay, when the Detroit police and the Wayne County Protective Services got in and tried to do a cover-up, tried to do damage control and cover-up, and it didn't work. Okay, well, all of that's going back up. And I got more that I hadn't put with it. We got Don Mars's recorded calls at narcissistic, gaslighting, serpent-seeded Cain, that animal hybrid, okay, who compares to the dirt stuck to the bottom of my shoe is what she compares to. I'm going to destroy Dawn and Ty Mars, and I'm going to destroy Great Oaks. It's a FEMA contracted human trafficking operation, folks, and it's against Americans. And if you're white, it's most specifically against you. Okay, that's what they do. They recruit. I don't think there is a black person in the United States of America left who has not been recruited as a FEMA role player to target and commit crimes of terrorism against Americans. And if you're walking around with a white face, that white face is a target. Believe me, your white face is a target, and don't let them gaslight you. Don't let this filthy species of animal hybrids gaslight you. Spin it right back around and put it right where it belongs, okay? Because they've gotten away with that for what's been about 60, 70 years now, and their time is done, okay? Their time to gaslight with their own self-hating racism over the color of their skin that they hate, okay? They can't stand the skin that they are in, and they're not going to make that my fault anymore, okay? And don't allow them to make it yours. And if you're white, they hate you. They absolutely hate your guts, and your white face is a target. These bus drivers are the most despicable, nasty people. And it's a spirit, folks. It's a spirit attached. For example, these serpent seeds of Cain, the females, okay? Oh, God, okay. And no, guess what, ladies? I'm giving you more credit than you deserve and even calling you that. Guess what? Nah, we don't want your means, okay? We ain't trying to take your means, okay? The truth is, we white women cannot even walk the street without your means, okay, exploiting and violating us, okay? They don't want nothing to do with you walking around with your angry upper lip curled up, with standing in that stance where you're ready to do that neck twirl and step out them flip-flops and go toe-to-toe like some kind of animal in the street, okay? You walk around trying to be, here, there. Listen, okay, this is what they're doing. They're getting recruited for these FEMA contracts for corporate espionage against Americans, okay? But since they're just low-life garbage from the fucking gutter, okay, who are already on fucking SSI, food stamps, Section 8, that's the package they get, okay? And they get like Jeanette Diamond, okay? All the Jeanette Diamond shit's going back up, and guess what? Oh, I got some shit on Dawn Mars. I'm gonna ruin her. And I still haven't gotten my $200 security deposit. And guess what? I'm going to turn that into a psyop. I'm setting Dawn up. I'm setting her up in a public humiliation ritual. I'm setting the bitch up. Okay? Great Oaks. Donald Trump. You need to know. It's these people. Your CIA county contracted people okay, who are stealing the benefits. Okay, they got so much mail that belongs to numerous people that comes to the Monica address at Great Oaks. And what Dawn and Ty Mars are doing with all this DHHS and Social Security mail that comes for all these people, including Lionel Macy, okay, he was somebody that was there and then wasn't. He was there until he wasn't, and he was only there a short time. Well, several months after he had left, his mail was still coming, and they don't return it back to sender. Jeanette Diamond, after Jeanette Diamond disappeared out of there after what I did to her, her mail was all put in the trash, which I videotaped. And I'm not sure if that's one of them that are gone or not, but it's going back up anyways, whether it's still there or it's still not. And we're going to keep it up there because I'm not done. I'm doing overkill on these people's lives. I'm going to do overkill on Macomb and Wayne County, Michigan, USA. And I'm going to do overkill on the taxpayers and the voters who are the funders and the enablers and the supporters of all this kidnapping, human crucifixion, human flesh eating, human blood drinking, child butt fucking, cannibalism, and terrorism in America. I'm doing overkill on it. I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to fucking drive it. So, the DHHS Macomb and Wayne County video and the post that it was exploited in has been removed. It's going back up because that's who's stealing all the money. That is who is getting the Social Security for the 6 million dead people. Homeland Security and Department of Health and Human Services, okay, they're all criminals. They have all these programs set up. All these FEMA contracted role playing where the people they get like Jeanette Diamond and these god awful disgusting animal species from the gutter who stalks me and commits their crimes against me at the Jason Hardgrove and on that disgusting Detroit bus and smart bus. Okay, they are the ones that are stealing the money. They are the 6 million dead people. Matter of fact, Donald Butts, he's dead now. Too bad he is because I'd send him to prison. Donald Butts was CIA in Hazel Park. And he's connected with all the Hazel Park judges, the prosecutors, Oakland County people. Well, he shot some he shot some monkey in the shoulder, and I was there when the FBI came and arrested him. And it went a little bit something like this: "Hey, Donnie, hey, good to see you. Hey, listen, Don, can you come? We need to take you for a ride with us somewhere." "Oh, sure. Let me get my coat." Don gets his coat, walks out, lets himself in the unmarked minivan that the FBI had in the driveway. They leave. They come back an hour and a half later. Don comes in with a big smile on his face, takes his jacket off. I'm like, "Where'd you go, Don?" "Oh, I got arrested." "Why?" "Oh, I shot that Igor on Winchester in the shoulder." Who I think is the same Igor who shot Marcus Riley right in front of my face. And Marcus Riley took a bullet that was meant for me, okay, on Woodward Avenue in front of the Karim Hotel. And Marcus Riley and his girlfriend Michelle, also known as Paris, who was found in a dumpster with her head cut off, murdered by a serial killer who was a CIA Marine who I sacrificed my life on 4 occasions to set up. And from what I understand, he has been in a secret military, probably Department of Defense Task Force 1, I'm assuming, a secret military prison, so the public won't know that it's the CIA Marines who are walking around chopping people's heads off and throwing them in dumpsters. Anyways, I set that guy up, and he also beheaded Lisa Coffey, and there was another girl who they actually put my name on the body and were investigating my murder, and I believe that was who they called White Girl Tina. She was found with her hands and her feet cut off and her face frozen to the sidewalk at 7 Mile and Shaner behind Vegas Market. And Detroit police were investigating what they thought was my murder, and everybody I knew on the east side thought I was dead until I went over there and scared the shit out of everybody, including officers Brenda and Porter of 9th Precinct Vice. Okay, Officer Porter liked to had a cardiac arrest in his car. He told me, "Bitch, what are you doing while you're walking down Gratiot in Houston Whittier when I'm out here investigating your murder? How is this even possible?" They sat there frozen in that squad car. They could not even move. He told me, he said, "Get away from my car. Please get away from my car." He was so scared. Okay, I never saw Officer Brenda or Porter again since, and there's a little bit more to that story. So I set that serial killer up, who was a United States CIA Marine, because that's what Americans are. They're serial killers. They're kidnappers. They're human crucifiers. They're child butt fuckers. They're cannibals. They eat people. They traffic people. They steal people's organs. God, these are a horrible, horrible, trifling, vile people here in America. The worst of all Allah's creation. And I am so thankful that I was chosen and blessed and favored by my Creator to destroy every goddamn one of them, to destroy this filthy United States of America, and to strip away their right to exist for being the terrorist corporation and the people eaters that they are. I thank God for putting me in this position. Quite frankly, I'm the only one that's got the balls to do it. Everybody else is a coward. That's why God picked me. That and DNA, for my pure-blooded, prime genetic DNA, as a descendant of my original pure-blooded genetic bloodline, which is the house of Imran, the house of David. Me and my family are the true hidden house of Judah, tribe of Judah. And we are the house of David. And myself, my youngest daughter, my father, and my father's brother, Ellis Payton, who's at the Vatican in the Black Pope head, we are the last 4 known people on this earth at this time who are the pure-blooded, prime genetic DNA descendants of our original prophetic bloodline. Okay? So, everything's getting reposted. And guess what? This time, Jeanette Diamond's getting tagged. Okay? I wasn't in position to do that before, but she's getting tagged this time. She's about to see her life shatter in front of her face in real time. It's going to be bad. Okay? What are the other ones that are missing? Oh, yeah. Okay, we got Peter Lucido's undercover pig for Warren PD, who was stalking me on election day. Okay, and he's a fucking retard who jumped out of his car, okay, and freaked out, allowing me to get a full video of him, okay, which was a result of him jumping out of the car to try to stop me from filming his license plate. So he's just going to jump out and expose his face too, like the fucking retard that these people are. So that was Peter Lucido's undercover spy pig on Election Day, the same day that a Patriot Act kidnapping was being set up at that same time against me. And they attempted to carry it out from the Jason Hardgrove Transit Center. And that's when they put the black Muslim bitch with a hijab wearing a Detroit police Luciferian uniform on the bus, who rode all the way to my bus stop at Cortland. Okay, I guess they thought if they went and found the first bitch with a headscarf on her head that I can't say it's religious persecution. Wrong. Because she's a Sunni, I'm a Shia, and it's the Sunni Muslims that are slaughtering and murdering us Shia all over the world. Just ask the Zionist Yahudi under the false identification that they operate under of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia who they are. Okay, they're Zionist Jews. Okay, and they are of the lines who were so jealous and so envious of the Prophet Muhammad and his family because they were jinn species, Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman, Aisha, okay, and they are after the death of the Prophet, they stole Islam, made themselves the majority. They made alliances with Rome. They've assassinated all the imams of the Prophet's bloodline in desperate fear to stop the coming of Imam Mahdi. May Allah hasten his return. Okay, and they are a jinn species who are extremely jealous of humans. And that is the difference. That is the difference between Sunni and Shia. And nobody else is going to tell you that. And they might end up dead if they do. Okay? My people in Iran, they know this. They're not stupid people like the people here in America. They know who Gog and Magog are. The Scythians. Okay? That is the beast that sodomite pedophile King James's version of the Bible talks all about. Okay, that is them, also known as the Scythians. And see, Iranians are they know about this ever since they're born. They're taught this stuff. Well, you got non-human animal hybrids and non-human shayateen jinn hybrids who some of them don't have a drop of human blood, walking around convinced they're just as every bit of human as the minority of us who really are human on this fucking earth. Okay, and they don't even know the difference. They don't even know what or who they are. Okay, kids in Iran who are still 4 and 5 years old, they know what you are. Okay? They know what you people are. So, this is the difference in blood types. Okay, this is why O negatives like myself can't take your blood. This is why if we O negatives who perform a gross act of bestiality with another species outside of our own bloodline, and if you get pregnant, okay, the woman is supposed to have a rogum shot to keep her immune system from doing what the immune system is supposed to do, killing the foreign invader of another species that is growing inside of her body, some hybrid beast growing inside of a human body. That's what the rogam shot is. So they put that beast DNA in you like a vaccine, okay? So that your immune system will recognize the beast DNA and not murder the fetus beast that's growing inside. Okay, that's how bad. That's the level it is. And See, they know this in Iran. Okay, well, that's who these people here in America are. And Western Europe. That's how they became called Caucasian. Caucasian's not a race. Caucasian doesn't mean just white. Oh, there's just as many black Caucasians as there are white ones. And let me tell you what, they're just as wicked and evil, if not more. They're more wicked and they're more evil. Because on top of that, you got the whole self-hating of their own skin color factor. That they walk around with an angry, hateful chip on their shoulder, blaming everybody in the world except for theirself and God, who cursed their bloodline until the end of time. Okay, don't blame me, blame God. Okay, God cursed you, not me. But guess what? That's going to change now because I'm cursing you. I am cursing your bloodlines from here until the end of time. Okay, I am going to exploit you people for what you are. I am going to pull your mask off and I am going to let the whole world know, no, you're not the poor enslaved victims. Matter of fact, most of you in America didn't even come from Africa. And that's why Africa's throwing your asses out. They hate you. Okay, CIA went around like Lance Scurv, okay? Lance Scurv, who's in Ghana now with 12 other CIA Scientology contracted spies, okay? Doing his little podcast thing from the Lance Scurv show from Ghana, okay? Well, I'm the one that basically sent Ghana everything that they needed to know, all of the Ghana government, all of the Ghana media, and everything, through numerous bulk emails. And I'm the one that gave them the information of the kidnapping and the trafficking and the organ trafficking and the sex trafficking and everything else that's going on in Ghana. Okay, and what they're doing, see, the United States of Nigeria contracted with the United States Army and the Department of Defense. Okay, I'm going to tell you what, you talk about some mean, ruthless people. Okay, you talk about getting fucking kidnapped and never seeing the light of day again, getting barbecued and eaten for lunch, go to Nigeria. Okay, they get paid by the CIA to do it. Okay, they get paid a whole whopping, like Pastor Moses, they get like a whole whopping $2,500 to sign an occult blood ritual sacrifice on you. Okay. So back to the FEMA role playing. Okay, yeah, they get like $200 cash under the table as not to affect their benefits. They're getting money for like 6 million dead people, which Donald Butts was one of those people back in the up until the 90s. And he was collecting a Social Security check that was for a dead guy in Toledo, Ohio, which he used to get that Social Security check every month for somewhere around 20 years. And he bragged about it because he was a big shot who had all the judges, Oakland County judges, prosecutors, particularly Hazel Park. He played poker with the mayor and everybody. He had them all in their back pocket. He worked at Hazel Park Racetrack, okay, and he made hundreds and hundreds cash, untaxed cash a night, doing laundry. He was literally doing laundry. All night long, he would bring home the jockeys' uniforms and wash and dry those in his own washer and dryer in exchange for tips in the form of anywhere from $100 to several $100. Okay? So Donald Butts of Madison Heights, Michigan, USA, who died of the cancer that he deserved to die of somewhere back around 2001 or 2002. He was one of the people that was collecting the dead people's Social Security that has now just recently been exposed, has been like 6 million dead people. It's Department of Homeland Security and it's DHHS. Okay, and they contract these disgusting, greasy, dripping, musty, stinking lower life forms, okay, to use against, first of all, to manufacture racism that otherwise wouldn't exist if the CIA and the United States federal government didn't manufacture it. And they also recruit all the Muslims. That's why the Muslims in America can't stand up and do the right thing, okay, because they all got in bed with Satan, and most specifically, many of them against me. Okay, I'm the one that brought the two international courts here with 39 other nations, and I gave them all of the evidence of America conspiring America's manufactured war on terror with Osama bin Laden, also known as CIA State Department codename Tim Osman, and White House State Department briefings with John Kerry, George Bush, Condoleezza Rice, the whole crew of terrorists. Okay, and that's what led to the Afghani war actually coming to an end after 20 years. Okay, when the United States, or when the international community went in there and they took and they brought down the first 50 American war criminal arrests. Okay, anybody who was anybody important started jumping on airplanes and hightailing it out of Afghanistan in fear of their fucking useless, worthless, disgusting lives. And they left over 120 Americans there, stranded, abandoned, and left to starve and die in the street like they deserve to. And the Obama administration completely ghosted them. And that's what America does. Yes, they do leave their people behind. All of them. Okay, and they left like over $90 million of high-tech United States military technology there. Okay, which I hope the Taliban will use against America. So, Wayne County. Oh, okay. So when this all happened, when these crimes happened on my Facebook page that they scrubbed to obstruct justice, they deleted all what is evidence in an actual international and federal criminal investigation into America's targeted, taxpayer funded. Let's first get that straight, because this war is not against the United States government. This war I have waged, this World War III that I openly and publicly declared right before the State Department on August 20th, 2020. Okay, before everybody who was here that day when the NBA laughed in my face, okay, and then it was by December 2020, guess what? United States of America's nuclear defense system was turned against them. It was taken over from Landstuhl, Germany, by my fiance from back when I was 17 and 18, who Bert and them, whose name is Edgar, these are all my dad's friends and my dad's people. They're Vatican people, Vatican Black Pope head people, okay? They kidnapped Billy and they faked his death, the Navy did, United States Navy, and they trafficked him to Germany, where he woke up in an isolated single-man cell 2 months later, unaware of where he was, how he got there, why he was there, and who brought him there. Okay, he has not left the military base in Landstuhl, Germany in about 35 years since then. And it wasn't until in 2017 and 18 that I found out he was still alive, and he has been alive all this time, and he is part of my Vatican protection detail. And these are also the people who control America's nuclear defense system, and these are the people who manufacture America's weaponized weather. all the way from Germany, where America is controlled from. And Billy, most specifically, who is there with 4,000 other kidnapped freaks of natures who have been turned into women that they originally weren't and turned into men that they originally weren't. They're castrated, they're used as eunuchs until their job is done, and then they're crucified and they're eaten for lunch. There's like 4,000. If you have any people in the military who never came home, if your kid went to boot camp and never came back, okay, whatever. Okay, the United States military fakes no less than about 4,000 to 5,000 deaths a year. Okay, they're probably some bitch ass sissy freak being held as a hostage on the military base over there in Landstuhl, Germany, and the international community is going to have to bomb their way through Germany, and they're going to have to get in that military base to free these people. Okay. Back to the FEMA contracts, the role-playing contracts. This lower life form filth that slithers on its belly on this earth, okay, that God has cursed until the end of time, okay, what they do, they get like $200 cash under the table, not to affect their food stamps and their benefits and everything. And sometimes they also do get paid in food stamps. Walmart Homeland agents, because that's what Walmart is. Walmart, Target, Myers, Kroger, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walgreens, CVS, any of that big box corporate shit. It's Homeland Security and or Department of Defense. That's why Walmart's got facial recognition. That's why they got license plate readers. That is why the infrastructure of their building is designed to convert into a drop-down prison at the drop of a hat. That's why they have hidden railroad tracks through their parking lots. Okay, and that is why people come up missing from Walmart. Walmart is Department of Homeland Security, and it is a targeted kidnapping, trafficking, murdering terrorist organization, and it's international and it's global. Okay, for my friends overseas, if you got a Walmart in your fucking country, okay, that's the Americans committing a war crime of espionage against you and your nation. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. Matter of fact, I'd go in and I would arrest them all right here, right now, today, and make sure they never see the light of day again, and I would shut Walmart down from ever entering your country again. Matter of fact, you better shut it down and stop any American from crossing your borders, because they're passing around engineered, mutated monkey diseases never seen before by mankind. That is what America's autoimmune and cancer epidemic is. Okay? They're SIV and HIV, and they're autoimmune that's hidden under a million different names, whichever name you want to give it, and all forms of cancer. Over 80 years worth of weaponized vaccine and blood donor programs, and they got CIA agents out here with syringes that are jabbing people with AIDS, with HIV AIDS. There was just a music festival here in the United States a week or two ago, and over 240 victims were stuck with a syringe, okay, with one of America's deadly bioterrorism viruses in it. Not much different than the 43 U.S. Department of Defense biowarfare labs that Russia uncovered in Ukraine that was hidden from the American people. There were 43 or 44 United States Department of Defense bioterrorism laboratories in Ukraine that were stocked to the gill with numerous strains and forms of COVID-19 and AIDS, both HIV and non-HIV AIDS. COVID-19 is most specifically a virus called enterovirus D68. And they ran the human experiment on America's children in the Midwest in 2014. And the hospitals were so full, and they, and this was all a drill. This was a drill for the big global biowarfare operation that they unrolled with a classified bacterial agent hidden in the virus in 2019, 2020. It's not China, folks. It's the Americans. The Americans did this, most specifically the Trilateral Commission, because United States, Great Britain, France, Germany, and Israel are all one and the same entity. They are all one and the same Satan bloodline owned by the Vatican. They are the children of the Third Reich Nazis who were protected in Operation Paperclip. Okay, the Nazi regime never fell. They never surrendered. Okay, they were saved and they were protected with new identities. And that is who Americans are today. They are the descendants of them. They are the Fourth Reich Nazi regime. Okay. So, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. Okay. They're spreading these diseases over 95% of the United States population. Okay, which does not include myself. I don't have these monkey diseases. Okay, they tried to assassinate me with these monkey diseases between 2013 and 14. I am the brilliant mastermind and methodologist behind a protocol called cellular DNA purification, and I put myself through 5 years of it. And it is actually the lifestyle I live, but due to the circumstances of my life right now, as a kidnapped, trafficked, missing persons and victim of United States terrorism, stuck in the disgusting, filthy shithole that America is, okay, I'm not able to live my regular lifestyle, okay, but I don't have these monkey diseases, okay? Over 95% of the American population is contagious with these. And they are passed through pregnancy and childbirth. In each generation that it mutates, it becomes a more aggressive strain, and your kids get more and more fucking retarded, America. They get fatter, they get lazier, they get stupider, they get more disgusting, okay? They are being modified and engineered into something that they originally weren't. May Allah raise every single American and Israeli and their children on the day of resurrection as the apes and the pigs that they are. Okay, it's the reason why God said don't eat. The reason why God said don't eat swine is cannibalism. Americans love swine. Okay, they love it, especially the Judeo-Christians, especially the Baptists. Okay, that's the main thing Baptists do. They have their yearly church picnics. They get them a big old fat hog and roast that big old fat hog all day long over an open fire, and they sit and suck on swine and pork and praise Jesus at the same time. Because you remember, Jesus came and changed the laws. Well, first of all, Jesus is not the son of Mary, and he is not the true Messiah. Okay? He's Lucifer. And if you make it through the secret societies, well, first of all, you have to be born with the golden DNA. If you're lucky enough to be born with the golden DNA, Illuminati bloodline DNA, like myself, okay, and then you make it through the secret societies to the highest offices, okay, that is when you start getting the secret information, okay, the hidden knowledge. Okay, Jesus is Lucifer, and all of these Judeo-Christian Satanists, these idol-worshipping polytheists, these sun worshippers of America and West Europe, okay, aka, as Imran Hussein of Trinidad calls them, the Santa Claus Christians of the West, Okay, they are worshiping Lucifer. That's who Jesus is. Son of Mary, his name was not Jesus. The name Jesus didn't even exist until 400 years ago, when a non-human sodomite pedophile cannibal named King James rewrote his version of the scripture. That is when the name Jesus was invented. Okay, the true son of Mary. Okay, and I am the bloodline of Imran, which is the father of Miriam, and I am also in my family bloodline. I am related to Yahya, also known as John the Baptist. His name was Isa, is how it's pronounced in the Arabic dialect, and Yeshua in the Yahshua, or however they pronounce it in the Hebrew. Okay, he is not who was crucified in that occult, satanic occult blood ritual sacrifice 2,000 years ago. That was the start of the last days that we are in now. Okay. And Gog and Magog have already broke through the barrier probably 1,000 or more years ago. I don't know the exact timeline offhand without looking it up and going back to the notes of my studies. But okay, well, look no further than the United States of America to know who they are. They're the Caucasians that slithered out of the Caucasus Mountains, and they are black and white. Okay. And that's what this whole thing that we're doing here, destroying America, is about. So, I'm about to humiliate Wayne County. I'm going to humiliate that mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, USA, Abdullah Hammoud. Okay, at the time this happened, I was trafficked. I was over on Hickory Street in Dearborn, Michigan, USA, where I was basically there as a hostage for about 3 weeks. Okay, planning a safe exit behind gay Muslim Fayez Hammoud's back. Somebody closely connected to me knew what was going on, and we planned and we conspired a quiet escape. Half of what I own is in a storage unit, and I had half of what I own there. And he was holding my belongings missing when I had first moved in. For the first 3 days, at night, like 8 o'clock at night, after I had babysat his dogs all day, and he's committing insurance fraud right now. He had an accident. He's, what's that lawyer's name? Mike Myers, whatever. That's not it. I'll look. It's exploited somewhere, and I'm going to exploit it again. He's committing insurance fraud. He's faking injuries that he doesn't have. He's faking psychological trauma of driving he doesn't have, while he drives all around town servicing the wealthy elite of all the big names in Michigan under the cover front of high-end health care for cash under the table. Lots of it. Okay? You understand what we're talking about? Pull up your skirt, bend over, spread your butt cheeks. That's what we're talking about. Okay, God, these filthy sodomites are disgusting. God's gonna destroy them, okay? Just like my Sheikh Imran Hussein of Trinidad, okay? Who is a highly intelligent, wise man with PhDs in international relationships. He led the Friday prayers at the UN General Assembly for 10 years. Okay, he's my UN clergy representative, And he's one of the wisest men in the world today, right along with my other ICJ representative who I brought here and gave the power to destroy America to, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Sayed Ali Khamenei. May Allah be pleased with him and may Allah protect him. Peace and blessings to your household. So, like Imran Hussein says, now I lost it. I lost my train of thought. What was it? Oh, well, in any case, we'll get back to that. Imran Hussein has also been locked out of the mosque. And the reason why is because he's been telling the world who Gog and Magog is for no less than the last 20 years. He's written books and everything. He is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant mastermind and servant of Allah who has like over 60 years of scholarship under his belt. He can't, they lock the doors of the mosque. They won't let him in. Well, they do the same thing to me. I cannot go to the Sunni Muslim spy operation over here at the Tauba Islamic Center on 9 Mile at Van Dyke in Centerline, Michigan, USA. They are contracted with CIA, Macomb County Corporate Council, and KMG Prestige, who's got 4 non-Muslim role-playing spies in that mosque. The Sheikh is in on it, and the few people that go there, and of course CIA, Macomb County Corporate Council, they've been all through Macomb County, and they've told everybody I'm mentally ill. Okay, and I've made a fool out of them by passing out my 7-page psych evaluation like it's the Sunday newspaper. Okay, they go in these businesses and they tell all their contracted spies. They tell them they tell them I'm under federal investigation. I'm on the Patriot Act. I'm on the terrorist watch list. Okay, and they pit Muslim against Muslim, and the Muslims can't say anything or do the right thing because they've all sold themselves to Satan, and they too have signed blood ritual, sacrifice, and child sex contracts, Patriot Act contracts on people, kidnapping contracts under Scientology. Okay, and so they can't say nothing because all these Muslims in America are somehow, some way contracted with CIA and the federal government and or military, right on down to the worthless piece of garbage in the alley with their FEMA role-playing contract. Okay, they canceled iftar because of me. Okay, Aisha, one of the young ladies at the masjid, invited me herself. She told me to be there at 6:30. They have iftar every single night. This was during Friday Jumu'ah prayer. Okay, and I went, and they made sure they had this guy. I don't know his name. I should go back there again just to take his picture. I think I'm going to do that. And he was sitting in the sisters' prayer hall. I was in there, and I actually stepped out. I went to the restroom, and I came back, and he was in the women's prayer hall on a chair with his feet up on another chair, sleeping, posing like he was sleeping. So, and nobody was there yet. So I had went and taken some books off the shelf and was sitting there. I was reading a book about the medicine of the prophet, and he woke up, or pretended he woke up, and informed me that iftar had been canceled and that the men are going to use that prayer hall because they can't use the men's prayer hall. Here's the shit this Muslim tried to blow up my ass. They couldn't use the men's prayer hall as they normally would because they have Taraweeh prayers going on in there. So for the regular Salat, they were going to have to use the women's prayer hall. Therefore, they canceled the whole goddamn fucking iftar because they were paranoid of me. Then I saw a flyer for Imam Sadiq Islamic Center in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, for a lecture. It was for Saturday and Sunday night, I believe it was. or either Friday and Saturday. I think it was Saturday and Sunday. I called. Okay, I spoke to the gentleman who I believe was the sheikh, and I'm not sure. I don't know myself, but my detail tells me that it was Sheikh Yasser. Okay, and I can't remember his full name right now. Brilliant lecturer, highly, highly intelligent, spiritual lectures this man has. And I called, and he confirmed to me that yes, they do have a lecture tonight and tomorrow night too. And I told him I was coming from the west side of Detroit, from Livernois and Grand River area, and that I would be taking the bus, and that I was not familiar with the west side or Dearborn, which the mosque is like kind of on the Detroit-Dearborn border. So he told me most specifically exactly where they were located, and because of the crimes against me, because they cancel the bus on me, and I stand on the street for what can be 2.5 to 3 hours waiting for a bus that's never coming, which is all the Facebook Lives that these paranoid, disgusting serpent seeds of Cain of Wayne County, these self-hating racists who hate themselves because of the color of their own skin, went through and scrubbed. And guess what? Every video hereafter is going to be much worse. This is everything I have to replace is going to be much worse, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm a perfectionist and I'm an extremist, and there ain't nothing I do if I don't do it right. Okay? I live by the motto, do it right the first time so you don't have to do it again. Well, now that I have to do it again means I have to go above and beyond and make it way better than it was the first time. It's going to be bad for you, America. It's going to be bad, and it's going to be bad for your disgusting, fat, lazy, contagious, and diseased, infectious, mutant children. It's going to be bad, America. You better believe by the time I get done, not only did I spend 12 years starting these wars against you, which you are on the losing end of, not only did I get your own nuclear defense missile system hijacked and turned against you, in which you are now surrounded, America, by 300 nuclear missiles, with 4 of them in fixed position, ready to vaporize 4 states of the United States with your fucking capital for mine and my fucking family's protection. Okay, not only have I done all of that, okay, but you better believe there won't be an American who will be allowed to cross a border into another country ever again. Matter of fact, I'm going for America's right to exist under international law. I am stripping you people of your right to exist and govern a people under international law as the targeted kidnapping, human, child, organ, labor, sex, and satanic, occult, and ritual and sacrifice, trafficking, murdering, terrorist corporation of cannibals that eat human flesh and drink human blood that you are. I am stripping you of your right to exist, and that is going to happen. This is the actual first and final fall of the Nazi regime. And what was supposed to happen to the Third Reich Nazi war criminals is going to happen this time to all of you. And there are going to be millions upon millions of little orphaned bastards left here to rot and die and wallow, starving in their own filth and disease, because the rest of the world doesn't want your little mutant bastards. Okay? It's what I've done to you, America, and I'm not done. I'm doing overkill on you. America's a done deal. You better believe America's day is done. Like done diddy done. I did that too. The only reason P. Diddy and his crew were even arrested and were even put through trial is for no other reason than, okay, what they can't tell you, the general public, because it's all being kept quiet under 6 years of 7 years now of U.S. State Department highly classified, top secret military orders and media gag orders against me, and while all of your lives are being decided behind the secret closed doors of international diplomatic silence. Well, it's because I brought the international community here that they had to do that arrest on P. Diddy. Okay, and that's just the beginning. Okay, there's a whole lot you people aren't being told. While the lesser gods who you serve in the White House, who you pull up your skirts and bend over and spread your butt cheeks for, okay, they're hiding it from you. They're hiding all of this from you. And the reason why is because great Satan's doing what great Satan does, taking you all down with him in the end. And I love it. I love it. You're all going down. You're all going down, and you're going to suffer. You people, and you won't survive. You will not, the American people will not survive what is coming. You people do not know how to survive. Okay, in your manufactured first world of plastic fucking artificial shit that is not even fucking real. You people won't survive, and I'm gonna drive it. I'm gonna drive it. Okay? Okay. Your children, America, your children are gonna drown in the blood and shit that's gonna flow through the streets of America as a result of what I have done in response to your crimes against me. You are a targeted, kidnapping, trafficking, murdering, terrorist corporation. You are not a nation. You're a corporation, and you are registered as such by city and state. You are owned by the Bank of England. You are corporate property, which is why you have a serial number on your birth certificate, because you are bank collateral for the Bank of England, which is owned by the Vatican. You're not a country. You're not a nation. You don't have any constitutional rights. You never did. Okay, that was a psyop to make you think you have rights and protections that you never had, you don't have, and you never will. The Constitution is null and void. It was written. Look it up. Look it up, assholes. Okay, leave TikTok makeup tutorials alone for a minute and actually go seek some real knowledge. Retards, you vaccine damaged retards of America. Okay, that's it. You are a criminal organization. You're not even a country. Okay, and the Constitution was written for a country named America, which is named after the horned serpent. It actually translates to plumed serpent, and this goes into a whole nother rabbit hole of special trees and the monuments like the Washington Monument. Okay, look that up. Look what it really is. And there are people. And all these monuments, statues, and bridges and buildings around America, there are people who were cemented alive in the infrastructure as sacrifices to the gods that they worship and they serve. I do not drive over bridges. I do not go through tunnels. Okay, that's why Michigan is notorious for construction. That is why they continuously tear up highways that don't have anything wrong with them, or they spend 2 or 3 years on a huge construction project, and then a day after it's completed and the roads are finally open, then they say, shit, god damn it, we used the wrong cement, we have to tear it up and do it all over again. Mass graves all down Gratiot Avenue in Macomb County. See, Macomb County is one huge epicenter for deep, dark, underground Satanism and cannibalism and human sacrifice and child butt fucking. And the reason why is because of the Great Lakes and the energy ley lines and all the portals under those Great Lakes. Okay, be real careful about coming to Michigan, USA. Matter of fact, don't come to America at all, because you might end up missing forever, never to see the light of day again. You or your children trafficked and butt-fucked through the underground P. Diddy tunnels, okay? That's what could happen to you, and it's very, very real, and it's widespread, and it's rampant. But what they have done is they have recruited all these people as Homeland operatives and or FEMA contracted role players. These people have to sign blood ritual sacrifice contracts. They have to sign child sex contracts. They have to sign kidnap contracts and or Patriot Act contracts on people. And then they get assigned to the crime they have to commit, and then they can't do anything about it. They can't speak up. They can't do the right thing. That is the position that America's Muslims are in. Okay, forget about America's Muslims. Okay, they're Rand Foundation Muslims, aka the engineered modern American Muslim. Okay, and they are more obsessed and more driven than getting themselves into public office and establishing the American dream for themselves than they are in doing their daily salat. Okay, they're not good people, these Muslims here in Michigan. They do not say salam alaikum to other Muslims. If you pass Muslims in the street in America, they will not say salam alaikum. And if you say salam alaikum, they will look at you like you have three heads. Like, what are you talking to me for? They will not reply back with the wa alaikum salam. Okay, they are horrible, horrible, trifling people. Okay, they are this generic corporate commercialized junk brand of America's pop culture and modern moderate Islam. Okay, that's not Muslim. That's not Islam. Okay, you want to know what that is? That's Universal Studios Muslim, the modern American Muslim reality show. That's what it is. Look it up. Look up the modern Muslim reality show. All the featured people in that reality show had to sign contracts on other people. Okay, and that's actually part of this investigation. That's how and why Jihad Hasmina became one of the 12 lives that I sacrificed my life to save. Jihad Hasmina, FBI, Detroit, was one of the 12 lives that I saved, that I sacrificed my own life to save on September 12th through 14th, where I fucked America right up the ass in a Hillary Clinton, Pfizer pharmaceutical, kidnapping, trafficking, murder, terrorist operation for the occult blood ritual sacrifices for the Alex and Avery Ishmael MBA contracts. Again, America's Muslims, okay? And the Nicholas Nemeth NHL contracts and this reality show. So that cult of Scientology, okay, that was all part of it. And Jihad Hasmina had married a trifling ass gold digging whore, the mother of his last and youngest child, and she signed the contract on him. So her and her kid could get a spot in that show. Then you got Miss America. Nobody becomes Miss America without an occult blood ritual sacrifice and or a child sacrifice and a cannibalistic spirit feast. Nobody. Rima, whatever that whore's name is, 2009 Miss America, Miss American Muslim. It's pathetic. Dearborn pop culture Islam. Yeah, 313. Okay, they're all in the Medi's army. They're all in the 313. Sit your bitch ass down, motherfucker. You ain't shit. Okay, it's called Dearborn Pop Culture Islam. Okay, and it's called Modern American Muslims. They were engineered by the Rand Foundation, and that is why the Obama administration murdered Sheikh Anwar al-Awlaki in cold blood. Okay, and they call him the American-born Yemeni terrorist. Okay, he was not a terrorist. He was a very righteous man, and he was a highly intelligent and well-educated scholar. And he had balls bigger than any of these engineered Rand Foundation Muslims in America. And he did a brilliant, fantastic lecture on the engineering of the modern American Muslim. And he was murdered in cold blood for it. They tried to set him up. They tried to send women to pose as potential wives and everything. And they finally got him. He went back to Yemen, and Obama murdered him in cold blood with a drone. And then that wasn't good enough. A week later, that self-hating racist, that serpent seed of Cain, Barack Obama, Barry Sorboto, okay, who's married to a man, okay, there's no such thing as a Barack Obama until they manufactured the fictional character that he is to be the first engineered black Muslim president at just the right time in their agenda. Okay, he's a test tube baby. He was conceived and grown in a laboratory in a test tube. He has 3-parent DNA, which includes the father DNA of George Bush Sr. That's who the self-hating racist of the serpent seed of Cain, Barack Obama, whose real name is Barry Sorboto, really is. Okay, he's not a Muslim. He never was. He was literally manufactured, engineered, conceived, and grown in a laboratory with a 3-parent DNA, which includes the Nazi Bush dynasty. So it wasn't good enough that they murdered Sheikh al-Awlaki in cold blood. Then, a week or two later, his 16-year-old son was sitting at the dinner table eating his meal with his teenage cousin in their home in Yemen. And these dirty heifers of the United States of America dropped the bomb on that house and murdered those kids in cold blood, because that's who and what Americans are. Well, he did a brilliant, outstanding lecture years ago. All of his lectures have been wiped from online. However, they have been saved and they have been preserved, and they are being kept safe, and all those lectures are going to be released, and there's not going to be a goddamn thing that the United States of America or anybody else can do about it. And that lecture was on the engineering of the modern American Muslim, okay? Don't believe the hype. Don't buy into all this bullshit. The largest Muslim community outside of the Arab world, outside of the Muslim world, Don't buy all this hype on Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, well, back to the mayor. So while I was being trafficked for slave labor and being held hostage against my will under the threat of if I walked out of the house and I left, which is in recording, I would be dead bolted out and everything I own would be put in the trash. Okay, some contacts of mine realized the situation, and they came and got me. They came and got me out of there. So this is the cousin of Mayor Abdullah Hammoudi. His name is Fayez Hammoudi. Okay, he's a gay Muslim servicing the wealthy elite, all the big names in Michigan who he brags and boasts about while he walks around name dropping and making sure everybody knows he's the mayor's cousin for purposes of intimidation and among other things, okay? And he even did it to the, he was bragging to me about how he threatened the Dearborn police about, ask me my name, okay? And he acted it all out. He put all his bitch energy right into it and I saw this man grow a pair of boobs right in front of my face. He acted the whole thing out. Last person he tried to traffic for slave labor for over his dogs. He falsely accused the person of beating his dog. okay? And he called the police. He told the police to take the guy out of there. Police said they don't get involved. Dearborn police. They said they don't get involved. This is civil. The guy lives here. You can't just put him out. If you do, it's an illegal lockout and it's a crime, okay? He showed me exactly how he put his finger in the air and did his little bitch dance, okay? Putting all the dramatics and theatrics with his female voice into it, telling the cop, ask me my name. The cop says, I already know your name. No, ask me my full name. So the cop said, okay, what's your full name? And then he said his full name, and he told him, no, yeah, that's me. The mayor who you work for is my cousin. Anyways, he acted out the whole dramatic scene for me. That's what he does. He name drops the mayor's name, Abdul Hammoud, for purposes of arrogant boasting and or intimidation. Okay? And he brags about how he services the wealthy elite in Michigan, all the big names. Okay, and he only takes cash under the table. Okay, I guess he's got the other home help care thing, which I believe, I'm not completely sure how accurate this information is or not, but I believe it's one of those. See, this is what DHHS does. Okay, they recruit this filth and disease that walks the fucking streets of America, okay, as FEMA contracted and NGO contracted role players, and they give them a contract, which they get like $200-$300 a month, depending on who they are. Okay, and what they do for the cover front to show where their money comes from, they get a job as a home help care provider through DHHS, in which they get paid minimum wage to go as a home help care provider to do light housework, help people with their laundry, help them prepare a meal, real easy, lightweight, brief stuff that they get paid by the state, by the taxpayers' money, minimum wage for. That's the cover front, okay, to show where their money comes from. All this crime and all this welfare fraud and all this theft, okay, that is happening in America, okay, it's the government. It's Department of Homeland Security. It's DHHS. It's the CIA. It's the United States military. Walmart Homeland agents, they pay themselves with food stamps, okay? They pay themselves with other people's stolen food stamps, okay? They all do this. They collect Social Security for dead people, okay? Then you got people like, you got the human trafficking criminals of America like Great Oaks, Dawn and Ty Mars, okay, who they have these house share rentals, and they target a specific demographic of people. And then those people get in, and they sign those people up, and they get funding for these people they got funding for me that I didn't even know they were getting, okay? And I'm not on a program. I was an independent, mature adulter that walked in there off of the street after finding an ad on Craigslist by my own free will choice, and I rented the room with the money from my own pocket. I don't get their fucking food stamps. You know why? Because Wayne and Macomb County DHHS committed a crime back in November, okay, and rather than go through their fucking psyop, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to exploit them for what they are, and they can take their food stamps and they can shove them up their goddamn ass. I don't want or need their food stamps. And when I decide that I do, I'm going to go down there and I am going to get them. But for right now, I don't want or need them. And instead, I am going to repost everything that's been removed, and I am going to pull the mask off of Department of Homeland Security and FEMA and every trifling American connected with this. See, this is not a civilian nation. Okay, there's only 30% civilians in America. Okay, FEMA and NGO contracted role players are not civilians. See, that's what private corporate military contracted means. And that's what NGO contracted is. That's why NGOs exist. It's how America gets around their war crimes of treason. Or they thought, okay, by contractors through NGOs, non-government organizations, which absolutely are government organizations. NGOs are government organizations. They are CIA, Department of Homeland Security. They are America's Nazi medical police. Yes, not NGOs are government organizations. So, well, specifically the dumbed down and drugged up American people, are supposed to believe that they're non-government organizations, so that when they commit their crimes of treasonous terrorism, okay, those are the fall guys that go down. Okay, those are the fall guys that go down. The CIA and the military agents and the federal agents that are really behind the operation, they don't like the human trafficking over here on 8 Mile near DeQuinder. I have to bring the videos of that back up. I can't think of the name now. They got these spas, particularly the black community. The serpent seed of Cain has these massage spas and these health spas. Okay, and they're all throughout Detroit. Okay, and they look like D-grade, second rate. Shit in the fucking alley is what they look like, okay? And they have the sign, they have everything, but you never see no customers going in and out. You never see no traffic. You never see no doors open. Okay, and then they'll run a news story like they did that they busted them in a human trafficking operation in which they've arrested such and such so many Chinese and Korean nationals. That's all bullshit. It's not true. And then 2 weeks later, the spot, as it is now, the specific one I'm talking about, is open again with a new name. Okay, it's the same people. Okay, what they're doing is they're recruiting lower life form filthy trash from the fucking gutter who otherwise has nothing in this world to live for, and they're paying them chump change. And they're putting them in these spas, okay? And then when they get busted for human trafficking, those are the fall guys that get busted. And the media tells you they're Chinese and Korean nationals. And the CIA, United States military, and federal government that really is running the operation just waits 2 or 3 weeks until the news story dies down and Americans forget, as they always do, and they just put another sign up that looks exactly like the other sign, except the only difference is it's a different name. Okay, those are the criminals. Okay, so all this big, beautiful bill, okay, of Donald Trump's, okay, that's supposed to rein in all this stolen money and save the programs, okay, that the 30% of the civilian public of America is being gaslit and blamed for. It is your government. It is Department of Homeland Security, CIA, the United States military, the FBI, the world's largest terrorist gang organization, okay, within a terrorist organization. That's who's doing it, okay? That's who has the resources and the protection to commit these multi-million-dollar crimes that the average Joe Blow civilian cannot get away with committing. Just like they are the cyber terrorists and they are the identity thieves, which all ties into how they are stealing from all of the programs, okay, while the poor people go hungry, all right? And there was something I wanted to mention about that. It goes along with it, and I've lost that train of thought. I will think about it. It's pretty important. So that's what Dawn and Ty Mars are doing. Okay, so then those of Great Oaks Housing. So then once the people get in, those who make the cut, okay, after, first month of observing them by the ring cam that they sit on, and they're working under contacts who are CIA, DARPA contracted satellite terrorists who do real time DARPA monitoring by satellite, and they watch every move the people make in their bedrooms, in their bathrooms, taking a shit, taking a bath. They watch everything, and they're doing this to all the general public. This is why they tried to socially engineer you to 6-foot social distance, so your biomagnetic fields, which have an identifying signature of their own, like a fingerprint or an iris, which is the sequence that is entered into the technology's computer system, which is how you are found by the technology. And when you are too close to another person and your biomagnetic fields start to mess and merge, particularly depending on when you get larger crowds with more people, it confuses the technology. And so before us, the international community stepped in on this biowarfare operation and slammed on the brakes on it. Okay, that's what America was socially engineering you people to 6-foot social distance for. That reason. Real-time DARPA monitoring, DARPA satellite monitoring right through the walls of your own home, which they are doing to millions and millions of Americans with what is not new technology. I have been exposed to and interacting with this technology for the last 56 years, since the day I was born. Okay, these spy contacts, my Vatican detail, okay, including the wrong side, including the human traffickers, who include people in my mother's family, the Lands and the Osborns, okay, and who include people in my father's family, who is the Vatican Black Pope head. Okay, and all the people that I have known going back to childhood, like Stanley, who's with Billy now in Landstuhl, Germany, who has control of America's nuclear defense system. Okay, I knew Stan and Lorraine ever since I was a baby. They were my mother and father's friends. Unbeknownst to my father, Stanley is actually my father's half-brother. My grandmother, Marge Adams, whose real name was Leona Payton, a name that she refused to be called because she was CIA and Israeli Mossad. They were baby breeders. Baby breeders for the Nazi regime. And Stanley, who was my dad's friend going all the way back to childhood, him and his wife Lorraine were living under the cover front of Jews in Dearborn, Michigan, USA. Okay, he's my dad's half-brother, and he is here with me by real-time DARPA satellite with Billy from Landstuhl, Germany. These are the people that have control of America's nuclear defense system, and this is why the United States of America could not send troops to Ukraine. This is why they could not send troops to Israel. Okay, this is why they're held up. Okay, this is a hostage standoff, an international nuclear hostage standoff, which the average typical American is too dumb to fucking believe. Because they're just that fucking arrogant and narcissistic with their God complex, okay? The lower life form, vile filth as the animal and jinn hybrids, Scythians, Gog and Magog, Khazars, AB negative and A negative, and bloodlines, and the AB and plus bloodlines that they engineer by inserting their serpent seed within bloodlines. Okay, while they modify and engineer a species, and from one species to another, decade by decade. This was happening. It's not new, folks. It's not new. Okay, and So then those who make the cut, okay, like Leah Young, that angry, mentally ill, hateful, self-hating racist who absolutely hates herself and can't stand the color of the skin that she is in. And she takes it out on the rest of the world like it's her fault. The white man did it. Okay. I mean, according to them, Yaqub is the one that engineered the white devil. Okay. So wouldn't that make it their fault? Wouldn't that make it their fault? Yes, it would. That's a whole nother thing. That's the Nation of Islam cult, not to be confused with Islam, because it is not Islam and they are not Muslims. They worship a serpent seed of Cain descendant, Master Fard Muhammad. Okay, they invented this, CIA invented commercialized corporate junk religious cult right here in Detroit, Michigan, at 1920s or 1930s. Okay, and they worship a hybrid beast named Master Mard Fahamid. They are not Muslims. Don't believe that shit. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I have so much information in my head. I have not even made a drop in the bucket. And it's all for America's most hated and most feared enemies and for the international courts and the UN to use against the United States of America. I have a lot of information in my head. So much information that I cannot even possibly, remember it. I mean, I have so much stuff going through my head, and it just goes on and on and on. And now I've lost that. What I was but so back to Dawn and Ty Mars, and then those like myself who they find out real quick are not recruitable. Okay. We are the ones that get the crimes committed against us and or we end up trafficked, which is why I was there. Okay, because they are Homeland Security contracted, and they are the cult of Scientology, okay, which is stealing all the taxpayer-funded programs' money, is the cult of Scientology, which is CIA, United States Navy, and what's his name, L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard wasn't nobody but a Navy recruit. He was recruited by the CIA, and he was given a script and a role to play to create this religion, okay, that is now murdering, killing, and stealing everybody's money, okay, Scientology. And so it's highly secretive. 50% of Americans are Scientologists. And see, here's the thing. Most Americans, when they hear the word most people, when they hear the word Scientology, they immediately think of Tom Cruise and Hollywood and aliens. That's only part of it. Scientology is a secret society, just like the Masonic secret society, just like the Rosicrucians, Jesuits, Skull and Bones. Okay, they too are a secret society of atheist scientists. They're Satanists. And it's a highly paranoid, kidnapping, trafficking, murdering, snitching culture. Okay, and the Church of Scientology is exactly what it says it is. It is just the Church of Scientology, the church within a much bigger secret society that about 50% of Americans belong to. And all, like 30%, all of the churches in America and the mosque are CIA and Homeland contracted. Numerous, okay, of the clergymen, particularly the Independent Baptist. Okay, let's talk about the Independent Baptists. Okay, the contracted CIA role-playing pastors that they are. Okay, they're hypocrites, they're Satanists, they're everything else. Okay, and they're contracted by the CIA with a script and a role to play. And the whole church congregation is monitored under this real-time satellite technology while they are all trafficked and outsourced and used as secret spies that they don't even know that they are. That's what America is. Just like my hero. Imam Khomeini said in 1979, the United States of America is a spy agency. And that embassy, that American embassy, that the people of Iran, not the Iranian government, not the military, not the intelligence agencies, but the people said, fuck this, America and Britain's gotta go. And they bum rushed the embassy, which they said was a spy nest, and they were absolutely right. It was a spy nest. And anywhere in the world you find there are Americans or any kind of American office, yes, it is a spy nest. The CIA works under the cover of media, journalism, humanitarian efforts, missions, missionaries around the world. Let me tell you who the missionaries are. The missionaries are the CIA. Natural Geographic, journalism, education, all of these roles they play around the world in foreign countries, they're CIA spies. Okay, first of all, you can't be the media in America without the CIA. There is no journalism, there is no medicine, there is no education, there is no religious missions, okay, without the CIA. And this is the cover front the CIA operates under, and they have secret spies flooded in countries all over the world, bringing souls to Christ. Bringing souls to Christ, passing out ham sandwiches in exchange for selling your soul to Jesus Christ, aka one and the same as Lucifer, which you will find out if you make it to the highest offices that control the world. Same thing with Scientology. Okay, these people, these Scientologists. First of all, if they sign a billion-year contract, that's how dumb they are. They're dumb enough that they sign a billion-year contract. Okay, there are levels, and these people, and they sell their children and everything. And there are children that the CPS, Department of Homeland Security, CPS, literally kidnaps children out of people's homes, takes them from their parents based on DNA selection. Okay, and there are people who check themselves into Scientology. There are people who are kidnapped right off of the street and trafficked into Scientology. Okay, these kids are like raised in facilities. Okay, where they are raised and groomed to be the human crucifying, child butt fucking, human flesh eating, human blood drinking, Satanists and trafficking terrorists that Americans are. And lost my train of thought. So, okay, so they devote their whole lives, okay, working like 18 hours a day, some of them. I'm talking about like scrubbing floors and toilets and showers with toothbrushes and things like this. Okay, they are locked on ships, travel ships, cruise lines. Okay, they are the crew that services the passengers. Some of them people have been some of those employees are not employees, they're prisoners that have been imprisoned on them ships for 12 and 13 years. They have not touched dry soil. Scientology, folks, it's all Scientology. Okay, so after they devote years and years of their life, okay, they make it up levels, just like any other secret society. And then when they get to the OT levels, there are 8 OT levels. And once they get to OT3, that is when you get called in and summoned, okay, to the Scientology building. And it is highly, highly secure. It's like going through TSA at the fucking airport, okay? That is exactly what it's like. Okay, and then they will let you know that you have established the level necessary to receive the hidden knowledge that you have sold your soul to Satan and enslaved your whole life to get. And they literally take like what's like a metal-like briefcase and they handcuff it to your wrist, and then they have armed guards that walk you through the facility to a completely electromagnetic proof secured room. They take you in there. You are locked in there. Okay, and while you are locked in there, that is when they walk out and they leave you alone while they monitor you through video, through surveillance cameras. And you're supposed to go through the documents in the briefcase, and that's when you find out that Jesus is one and the same as Lucifer. Okay? That's the god of Rome. That is the sun god of Rome, a.k.a. Zeus. That's who the Vatican and the Catholic Church is. It's modern day Rome. And they are every bit the sun-worshipping, idol-worshipping, polytheist, human crucifying, human flesh-eating, human blood-drinking Satanists that they are. And all of these oh my God, the evangelical and the independent Baptist and the Pentecostal churches in America, that's all United States military and CIA built from the ground up. That's their religion, and that is why everybody in those churches is or has been in the military. First of all, there's no such thing as has been in the military. There's no such thing as you went and enlisted, did your 4 years, and decided you wanted to become a civilian. No, you're a secret spy who lives under a civilian cover front. That's what it is. That's who the congregations in all of America's churches are. Okay? That's the problem that Pastor L.E. Traxler of Rochester Hills Baptist Church, now I think it's called Somerville Baptist Church, that's the problem he has. That is the problem that role-playing Pastor Gene Adams here on my Facebook list has. That is a problem a whole lot of them have. That is a problem a whole lot of my mother and father's friends and family have. Okay, I'm pulling all their masks off and I'm exposing them all for what they are, and I'm feeding them to the fucking wolves at the fucking Hague, and they're gonna fucking burn in the underground UN gas chambers where the Third Reich Nazis were supposed to go and never